We're on a roll.
Yes.
Episode 12.
Double digits.
What was our last episode? We were talking about headlines.
Controversial headlines.
Talking about Bill Gates and
Steve Harvey.
Willow Smith.
Yes.
This week, we will be talking about friendships.
You got a friend in me.
Ooh, Toy Story. Okay, I see you. Getting your Pixar on. Hey, look. Thank you for tuning in. This is Closing the Gap. I'm Jo'Van.
And I'm Brandice.
And we're here to talk about everyday issues, but bring in a godly perspective. And, we're excited that you're here, and we hope that you get something from this and enjoy yourself and have some laughs along the way. So.
Yes, and if you haven't already, please make sure you like and subscribe and comment. We want to join the conversation and want this conversation to keep going.
Right.
It's not a one-way communication here. We want to open that dialogue going.
Yeah, so once again, thanks for tuning in, and let's get into it. So,
talking about friendships.
Yes. So, Brandice, do you have friends?
Yes, I have friends.
Okay.
Have lots of friends.
Okay. So, in your opinion, what are two things that what are two things that make you a good friend?
For me,
not in general, but you know what I'm saying. What makes a good friend to you?
For me, somebody who's I can depend on. If I go to them for something, whether they're gonna keep my, I want to say secrets, but if I can trust them.
Right.
So I guess that's two different things. So dependability, I can go to them. I can, if they're gonna say they have a man of their word.
Or a woman of the word.
Well, I was using it in the loose sense.
Okay, it's 2021. Okay.
Yes.
Get it right.
Man or woman of their word, and someone who's trustworthy. So those are two big things that I need in a friend. Can I depend on you? Will you be there when I need you? And are you trustworthy?
Those were mine. I don't know. I guess we didn't talk about this.
Yeah. Well, some other things, loyal. I a big loyalty.
Okay. Yeah. And I guess I kind of fit that into dependability.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, 100%. Like, if you're my friend, that means I want to talk to you about life. I want to spend time, and you're gonna get to know me. So if I can't depend on you, I'm not. Why would I want to spend time with you?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I call you my friend? If I can't depend on you, then you're just an acquaintance. Like, I know who you are. You know what I'm saying?
And that's exactly. If I can't depend on you, then you're acquaintance. So that's true.
Yeah.
There's also plenty of scriptures out there about friendship, and I was kind of not surprised. I mean, I know there's scriptures for everything, but just amount of scriptures that the Bible talk about friendships. I know you had some.
Yes, I am pulling it up right now.
Alrighty, we're ready. What does the Bible say about friendships?
Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. So I think, I like that verse because in friendships...
What scripture was that?
Oh, that's a good...
Yes.
Sorry about that.
We want to know!
Yes. Colossians 3:13.
Got it. Because I would have read that. I'm like, oh, wait, you said...
Yeah, that's a good verse. Where do I find it? No, I really like that one because anytime that you spend time with a lot of people, wow. Anytime you spend time with someone for a long time and y'all become friends, you're going to go through things. It's not always going to be sunshine and roses, just like any relation, serious relationship.
Any relationship, yeah.
And so there's going to be times where, maybe someone crosses the line on accident or, emotions get involved and, things get a little, people cross the boundary. So you have to be able to, in order for that relationship to survive long term, you have to be able to forgive and realize people are imperfect.
Yes.
And then you also have to know that this person really cares about you. You know what I'm saying? I know personally, I've had friendships where, either they did something that, I didn't like, or I did something that they didn't like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we had to, the friendship was tested through that. You know what I'm saying? And if we made it through it, then, and we still have respect for each other, then we can continue, and that's a long-term friendship. If not, then it dissolves. So,
and sometimes you gotta know that person too, because you can't expect too much out of the person when that's not even their nature. Like, let's just say, if you are a fighter, you always kind of jump into fights, but somebody don't jump in and help you fight or whatever the case may be. That might not be that person just because they don't help you. I don't know why I thought this is a scenario, but just because that person might not jump in a fight doesn't mean they're not a loyal or good friend. That just might not be who they are, but doesn't mean they don't have your back or whatever the case
Right.
maybe.
So you're saying like you have to know your friend and have like certain like you have to manage your expectations
Yes, like
based on
know
who they
that
are as a
person's
person. Yeah.
character and just get to know the person basically before you cast judgment. Like, well, you're not a good friend because you didn't do X, Y, and Z. Well, you don't know. You don't know how they. Just like we talked about relationships and knowing the love languages, but just knowing that friend and knowing their character, how they show their traits of a good friend. So
Yeah. I will say you as a friend get bonus points if you do try to fight for me. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I think that's look, I know I understand I have to fight my own battles, but I like
no,
to
yeah,
know if that they got my back, in that type of way,
yeah,
So, yeah.
I can see that. But I was
Oh, honesty. That's the other thing I need from.
yes,
See, so
yes,
if you're close to me and you aren't like telling me what's up for real,
yes.
you're not really doing me any
You're
justice. You're
not my
not really
friend.
being my friend. I mean, I get it in a romantic relationship where like I think you should always be honest. But I understand like sometimes that can get a little sensitive, right? But in a friendship, I feel like you should always be honest with your friend because they need that. If you're close to them, if the closest people to them aren't being honest with them, then who is? You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So for me, I really do value honesty. Um,
definitely. Because the thing is, a lot of people get a little touchy with honesty. It's not necessarily what you say. Because I always want you to be honest, but it's not what you say. It's about how you say it. So you can always be truthful and be real with a friend without being rude. And so I want to make sure people are aware that because sometimes they misconstrue that like, well, I don't want to be mean or hurt their feelings. Like, no, I want you to be real. You don't have to be rude, but I do want you to be real with me. And as far as like ladies go, like if I look a hot mess, please let me know I look a hot mess before I leave the house. Or if I'm looking crazy over a guy, please tell like stuff like things like that. Just be a friend and tell that person be real. You don't have to be rude again, but you can be honest and real with that person.
Agreed. So yeah, I think so what was that? That was like three things, right? So we have honesty, trustworthiness, and dependability
Slash loyal. Yeah.
slash loyalty.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I think those core I mean, you gotta have that in a
You
friendship.
have to.
You know what I'm
Like
saying?
if you don't have that, then it's like, what are you doing? It's just like it's like you said, it's just an acquaintance at that point.
Yeah, I can't be friends with someone I don't trust.
Right.
Um and I can't be really good friends with someone I can't depend on.
Mm-hmm.
Um and definitely I need honesty.
Yes.
So
100%.
so yeah, I would say those core things right there.
Yeah, and I did have a scripture that I didn't want to highlight as
Right,
well.
right.
Sorry. So Job 6:14. Anyone who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty. Um, so that kind of like, whoa. I mean, and that's another thing of quality you want a friend to be is like kind and nice. So if you don't have, and the Bible clear says if you withhold kindness from your friend, if you're always like being negative or mean spirited towards them, then you withhold the fear of God. So um, I don't know. That kind of just like blew my mind when I saw that one.
So in your opinion, like we were talking about earlier, off the talk show, some friends are here for a season, and some friends are there for a lifetime,
Yeah,
right?
a reason, season, and a lifetime. Yeah.
Reason, season, a lifetime. So how do you know? How do you differentiate? Like, how do you know when it's time to let go of a friend?
I think it's like when it becomes like draining. Because like sometimes, because you like you said, you do go through seasons with a friend where you go through like ups and downs, and you have to be long suffering and extend that grace and whatever. There's a lot of times people these days it's like they cut off people so fast. But I think it's very important that you kind of take a look and like respect it. Like, is it always draining? Like, if it's always draining you constantly, then that might be a sign
There's
to
a
let.
sign something's wrong.
Yes, but if it's
Absolutely.
like they're going through a tough patch, then maybe you need to extend that grace and weather out the friend. You might distance yourself, maybe not be as all the time talking, but you can't just cut them off. But you just have to separate whether it's draining you constantly, it is not getting better. You've given grace, you've been long suffering, all this, prayed about it, and it's just draining. It's like I have no kind of peace when I'm with you. Then maybe that's the time when you need to cut it off. But you have to just differentiate that constant struggle than just like going through a rough patch.
Right. I have a question. So let's say you're friends with someone and they're draining in the sense of you see that they're the main cause of all their problems, but they don't fix any of them.
Hmm.
That can be draining because you're
It
just sitting
can
there
be.
and they want you to be their listening ear. They
Yeah.
want you to listen, and you're just like, bruh, I've already told you. Trying to be your honest friend, and I'm trying to tell you like this is why you go through what you go through. Are you going to change it? Because
Yeah.
I don't think the friend that's having to listen to all this is wrong for being like, bruh,
You have to.
this is starting to affect me. This
Yes.
is your problem. I'm trying to be there for you, but you're not changing anything. So now I might have to distance myself because you, like you said, like once it becomes draining, it's not that you don't want to be there for them, but you have to protect your self peace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
there's nothing wrong with like distancing yourself from it. Not saying that you're not the friend, but you're not there
Right.
like all the time
No,
because you
because
just can't. Like
you
just
gotta manage. You gotta take care of you. You
that.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and and there are different types of friendships as far as like there's some friends you do speak to every day and you're like best of buds,
Right.
and then you have the friends you still might be best buds, but you don't talk to all the time. It might
Yeah.
even go months.
But you pick up right where you left
Exactly.
off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that friend that's like so hard to go through, you might have to like distance for a little bit, like, and then like come back and reevaluate. And if they're not seeing it, then maybe that might be that friend. If they're not ever seeing the error in their ways, or they're just like always all about me, 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 you're never ever asking about how I'm doing or trying to help me, then maybe that at that point, if they're constantly after a little distance, they're still doing it. That might be like, okay, I can't do this.
Yeah. I was thinking, I was like, I don't think I've ever had a friendship where I had to let go of the friendship.
Hmm.
I feel like kind of more of my friendships is like, yeah, we grow differently. We go our separate ways in life, but it's not like I've ever had to be like, bro, I just can't be friends with you anymore. Because I have friends from childhood
Hmm.
that we're still friends. I haven't really seen you since I was like in middle school, but when we do talk, it's still
And that's a
cool.
true. That's the
You
test
know
of a
what I'm
true
saying?
friend. But then, yeah, have you had
Yeah.
any friends like it truly just feels like it might not be any bad blood or whatever. It just run its course. I mean, I think also when it does that, I think that's might be your friend for a season if it just kind of fizzles
Yeah,
out.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with friends for a season. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think just being able to identify like that, because I feel like if you look at your friends of a season, and you're like, I need this person to hold me up. While I was like, well, you might be setting yourself up for disappointment
I think,
because
yeah,
that's never what y'all were. And honestly, putting that expectation on that person is all maybe it's probably a little unfair. You know
yeah.
what I'm
I think a
saying?
lot of people don't realize that that person was a friend just for that season or reason.
Right.
So they do, like you said, put too much expectations or put too much value on that friendship. And when it fizzles out, when it run its course, then they're all hurt. And instead of like just stepping back and like,
Just that's what it was.
yeah,
Even through sports, I played sports all through school, and I have some guys I played high school basketball with that we were friends
hmm,
when we were in school,
yeah,
but after that, we never talked to each other.
yeah,
So that shows you like we are friends in a certain time period, certain
hmm,
environment. Outside of that, there's nothing really holding it up. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So, and that's okay. That doesn't make me like dislike them or
yeah.
anything
And
like
it's like
that.
and that's okay because you have different types of friends.
Right.
Like when you said sports, it made me think of like work friends. And sometimes like when you're in a workspace, you have and you during those hours, you're like the best
Yeah,
of
because you can
buds.
bond over all the work stuff, and you're just like, wow,
Yes.
this person gets me.
Yes, you have like that
Yeah,
work bestie,
yeah,
or it's just like when you're in that season working together, you might don't get me wrong, you might gain a real friend out of
right.
the job, but for the most part, it's you're just friends. Because half the times you might speak a little bit outside of work, but the true just work friends, you just speak inside of work, and it's like, oh
I will say, I do. It's funny. I have that situation where I've had to step back and be like, okay, how close are we? Because like at work, we'd be laughing and stuff like that, and it's not like I I had to step back, but it's so funny. I've gained work friends that I didn't expect for them to be the ones that we would talk the most outside of work.
yes,
You know
same.
what I'm
I have
saying?
some really good friends that I've gained from two of my jobs, but like that have become one of my best friends. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's so crazy. Some you just like you think you're good friends, and then when you change jobs, it's like it kind of fizzles out. But the test is when one of them leaves, and then you're still good friends.
Yeah, yeah. I really, truly, truly
But work
value.
friends are good. They're good because you
They're
have that
good,
common bond. It's like,
man. And it's I feel like I I created a bond with specific work friends during the pandemic because we went through so much work wise.
yeah,
It was crazy, and we had late nights where we were working from home, so we had to stay on the phone and stuff. And we ended up not just talking about work, we ended up talking about life and getting to know each other.
yeah,
And then I think from there we really like became friends. Like
yeah,
because even like we don't even work directly with each other anymore, but we still talk to each other. We've even met up and like
yeah,
hung out. And I'm just like, I like you. You cool. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
This is
That's
more than work.
yes, yeah,
So
yeah. It's
yeah,
cool. And what other kind of friends are there? I feel like it's all like okay.
yeah.
We have like those acquaintances, and I mean, not I won't say acquaintances, but you have some friends that not might not be as close to you, but you still consider a friend. You might do dinner here and there, or whatever the case may be. A little closer, higher than an acquaintance, but not necessarily one of your
I would
best friends.
say you can have like okay, to add on to the work thing,
Mm-hmm.
you can have friends, but y'all only bond over one particular thing. Like you could have Bible study friends. Y'all bond spiritually, but outside of that, y'all aren't really,
Hmm.
it's not in that it's not any deeper than like spirituality is deep. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but when I say deep, I mean like it's nothing more than that. Like
Yeah,
y'all
outside of that
yeah.
confinement, like
And so
work, church, or whatever the case may
right,
be, you're not in it.
right.
I know what you mean.
So
Yeah,
so when you talk to them, if it's not about the spiritual aspect, it's like y'all don't really have that going for you. So
yeah,
I think you can have different types of friends based on what you connect on.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like you said, sports.
And
Yeah,
then you have those few that you connect on so much that it's almost like wow, like you are like the total package. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? And it's because I definitely have friends that I can truly bond with them in certain settings, but outside of that setting,
you're not. Yeah.
like when Wesley came through to help with the sound, like that's a friend who I can bond over a lot of
Shout out
different things.
Wes.
Yeah, shout out Wes and Matthew. Thank you for helping us with our sound.
Yes.
Appreciate y'all big time. But yeah, that's a person I call like not a holistic friend. I'm making up stuff, but like a friend in like all types of ways.
Yeah.
Our next question: does your friends reflect who you are? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, they do. I mean, there's a saying that birds of a feather flock together. So, um, but yes, I do. I will say in general, yes, there are cases where you might have friends that are a little different.
Mm.
So you can't really, but and you might be friends for different reasons outside. But and I do have really good friends. A good friend who we have different beliefs, whatever. But I do still consider that person a really good friend of mine, just because of all the core values of being dependable, loyal, and all of that. But sometimes you will have to be careful because if you don't want it to kind of like reflect on you, because I do believe a friendship does reflect on you. So, but I do have friends that are a little out there. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's yes and no. I
Hmm.
don't think it's a straightforward yes. I mean, in some cases, if I think it okay, let's make it like simple definitions first. I feel like if you have five friends that are on their grind, you're probably on your grind too.
Hmm.
If you have five friends that are lazy and not doing anything, you're probably just like them. And I say that just because you don't like I feel like if like let's say you're a lazy person, but your five friends are on the grind, that might intimidate you a little bit. You might be like,
Yeah.
oh man, okay, it just kind of shows me how much I'm not doing. I'd
Yeah.
rather be around people that don't make me feel like crap.
No. Yes.
Just by, going after. And then if you are a person on your grind, but all your friends are lazy, you be like, bro, like,
Yeah.
I need
Like
some people to push me. You see what I'm saying?
exactly.
So
Exactly.
I do agree. But then at the same time, like, you do have those outliers who they're just in a season of their life where they're going through something, and I don't think that's necessarily a reflection on you.
True.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
think people have cycles in life. So, um, so do you think as a Christian that you should align yourself with certain friends?
I think it's a very slippery slope, but I because like you, it's always like you, one might pull the other. Like if they're not a Christian, they whatever, they might pull you. Or but on the flip side of that, you could pull them. So I
Right.
just it's a slippery slope. You just have to. I feel like it's an individual thing for people, and you just have to know how strong you are in your faith if you're going to be friends with somebody who don't have the same beliefs or out there doing things that doesn't align with your faith.
Yeah, I think it's very. I think this is very situational
Yeah, yeah.
question.
Because I feel like it's because some people are not strong, but you have to know that about yourself.
Right. If you and you know, if you have a friend that y'all like, okay, if we're gonna talk about the spiritual part, you have a friend that's Christian and they go through a cycle in their life where they're not really living that life. I feel like as a friend, in certain cases, if you distance yourself away from them, you could be doing them a disservice.
Hmm.
So I think you just have to use wisdom, talk to God, and be like, hey, what can I do for this person?
And then the big word, boundaries.
Boundaries, absolutely. But I think, yeah, boundaries and talking to God and being like, okay, God,
Yes, show me
I
how to.
think
Yeah.
you may be they may be going through something and maybe they need to get something out of the situation. Okay. Now I understand like I have to stay on my walk with you,
Hmm.
right? So how do I be there for them, but not get off my walk with you?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you could be trying to teach me. You may have me here to help them, but give me wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
I really, if you're my friend, I'm not going to like leave you hanging unless you're just being disrespectful to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you're being selfish and you're like, because that's a whole nother thing. Because I will protect. Like one thing about Jo'Van in 2021 is I will protect my peace.
Yeah.
Okay, and so if you can't respect that, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I can be there for you though.
And I'm glad you brought up like asking God because I've been in situations where I've been around like friends or people where I'm like, but I prayed about it and I'm like, God, show me what you want me to do in this situation, kind of whatever. And then sometimes he is like with that person is even working on yourself where there's more patience, more grace, or whatever in that person. So you might be that witness. So I have experienced that with myself. So I'm glad you did bring that up because that is true. So you just definitely want to pray and make sure you seek guidance from God to see which path you should take with that person.
Right. And
Because
also talk to them. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
If they're your friend, you got to keep communication. Maybe that was one of the things we missed on friendship. You know what I'm saying?
I did think about that, but I was like, yeah,
You got to communicate, you know what I'm saying, to a degree. Maybe not the same as a romantic relationship, but, you know, if I'm truly your friend, uh, through honesty, you know, I'm going to, or through communication, I'm going to be honest with you.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be what a friend needs.
Good
You know what I'm
advice.
saying? I'm not going to
Not
abandon
so
you.
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? I think part of a good friend is, to a certain degree, sticking with you when you're going through stuff. You know what I'm saying? When you're not necessarily your best self.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I feel like if this is and the last thing I'll say, I feel like if all your good friends distance themselves from you when you're going through something bad,
That's not your good
what
friend.
what is a good friend then? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, but there's definitely limits. There are definitely limits.
Yes, there are limits. So I
Yeah,
mean, the best thing you do is like pray and
pray.
just
What are your limits? I guess as an individual.
yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, you're not their you're their friend. You're not their therapist. So it's like at some point, it's like I can only do so much. Like I'm definitely
Right.
there for you. I can pray for you. I can give you the much as much advice as I can. But it's only so much I can do. So
Maybe that's one thing I need to think about. Is like, can I be friends with people that don't take accountability for their own like healing? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because it's just like, bro, like I'm not here to be, like you said, be your therapist. I'm not your guide. I'm not any of that.
yeah.
You
Especially
know?
they're not like it's like we said already. People do go through stages in of their life seasons, whatever. So we're not saying if they're just going through a rough patch, you should be like, oh, I can't deal with you.
Right.
But yeah, I just want to make sure people
Yeah,
are like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, if it's like a constant, they're never take accountability. There's no self
Yeah,
reflection of
that's just
anything.
toxic at
Yeah,
that point. Yeah,
yeah,
that's just toxic. So
yeah. So guys, let us know in the comments what you think a good friend looks like in different stages of friendship.
Also, would you be friends with Brandice? I want to know that. Let us know in the comments. Would you be friends with Brandice?
Yes. So are we not friends?
I mean, I don't know. After this episode, I'm reevaluating. I'm gonna look at all the standards we set and
I
kind of
know,
just be
right?
like,
Might be a little toxic for
okay,
me.
check. Big X, small X, check. Yeah.
Check.
So
Yeah.
anyway, yes, let us know in the comments what you think about friendship and on all the topics that we covered. And thank y'all for tuning in. And we hope you enjoyed this episode. See you next time.
Bye.